Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan. I hope you're doing well today. I'm going to finally do another commentary after a few days of promising it, and I just couldn't get around to it this weekend with how busy it was in my life. Anyway, here I am talking about the final Dummy episode. We're going to do a commentary here where I will watch it along with you all. That'll be the best way to probably pick up on the commentary as I make mention of things here and there, tell some small stories as a fan. Anyway, I'm a big fan of this episode. I love slappy episodes in general, so this will be really fun to joke about, to laugh about, whatever. I've also read the book one time years ago. It's been a while since I read it. I probably should have read it again before I did this commentary, but I did not do that, nor do I think it's necessary to enjoy the episode. But anyway, this is Season 3, Episode 16, Bride of the Living Dummy. It came out on February 14th of 1998, Valentine's Day. It's also directed by Randy Bradshaw, who did quite a few Goosebumps episodes, like, let's see, what does IMDb have to say here? It's not showing... Oh, Attack of the Mutant, and Scarecrow Walks at Midnight, An Old Story, A Shocker on Shock Street, The Blob That Ate Everything, or Everyone, whatever. So this is a man with talent, and I actually own the VHS tape of Bride of the Living Dummy. I'm, of course, watching my DVD copy, but I have a VHS copy that I watch pretty much yearly. At some point this summer, even though we're in August right now, I'll probably sit down and watch that VHS again, because I typically do that. I love that VHS tape. It's actually the exact same one I used to rent from Hollywood Video. I showed it in my episode review years ago. I love that episode. I think it's so special to me. I have so many memories of it, and Night of the Living Dummy 3 and Haunted Mask 1 and 2 being ones that I rented over and over again back in the day, and also got DVD copies of if I could find them. Of course, Bride never got one until now. But anyway, let's go ahead and start the commentary in just a moment. I'll count down to 3. Again, bring up your DVDs, your bootleg Blu-rays, your Vudu accounts, whatever you're watching this on, your Pirate Bay website, whatever you guys are watching Bride of the Living Dummy on. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1, go. I love the opening theme song, man. You can never get sick of it. I got my volume up a little bit loud. You guys might be able to hear that through my headphones, so I'm going to try to turn it down just a little bit. I wonder why this one is so loud. The other day when I did the commentary for Night of the Living Dummy 2, it was like kind of mild. I don't know if it's an audio mix thing or a DVD mixing or remixing, whatever. But this one's way louder for Bride. It's kind of surprising. I also found out apparently there's a different actor this time around for Slappy. I don't know if it's for the puppet or what, but it sounded to me like the same Slappy from when I was a kid from Dummy 3. But it says Ron Stefaniuk. I can't say the name. But apparently he did Slappy here, so that's interesting. Jimmy O. James. I always liked this guy when I was a kid. His name is Wayne Robson. He was in, he was in Cube, and I really liked Cube. He was in Wrong Turn, Dolores Claiborne, all kinds of cool stuff, man. I think they said in the book he's just, like, actually homeless. Like, I guess they're implying that with his outfit right now, but as a 90s series, I guess we don't really say things like that. But in the book, I'm pretty sure they said he was flat out homeless. And here he is getting the actual dummy case that he just found with Slappy in it. Now that looks a lot like the same trunk Slappy came out of from Dummy 3, the episodes. I'm not really sure if it is, but it looks like the same one Dan and Trina threw Slappy in the well with. There he is, that beautiful green-eyed boy. You know, when I was a kid too, Dummy 3 scared me a lot. I know that this episode's not a two-parter either, just like Dummy 2, and it's only like 22 minutes long. But this episode, in some respects, especially with the ending of the episode, the final thing that happens in it, frightened me so bad as a kid that this and Dummy 3 were the ones that I rented once upon a time and showed to my mom. And she had just seen Goosebumps with me for the first time ever because of those 2 VHS tapes. And I remember her realizing, like, hey, this is really creative and kind of creepy for kids. And she realized how much I loved it. Of course, she raised me on horror with Halloween and Friday the 13th and so on and so on. This stuck with me for years, dude. But I wasn't afraid of Slappy. You know, like I had ventriloquist dummies when I was a kid because I loved Slappy so much. But on the other hand, there were toys I had from when I was like 3 that were like the dolls that had like a metal head under the scalp and whatever because they talked. And they frightened me because they looked and sounded so much like Chucky from Child's Play. And Chucky scared me so much that I couldn't even look at those movies until I was like 13, dude. Wow, this just looks so 90s, dude. I love it. Yeah, listening to it right now, he does sound just slightly different from the Dummy 3 and Dummy 2 episodes. Cal Dodd is still my favorite, though, from Dummy 3. Dude's incredible at that particular role of Slappy. Dude, the twist from this episode about Slappy being more into that little girl versus her little girl doll is so gross and weird. I remember when I read the book, I think I commented on that in my review, but I don't think I went into spoilers because I didn't want to spoil it for anybody, but that weird twist in here about Slappy being a creep is just, yuck. It's so nasty, man. How do you lose a doll that big? I mean, I know that the twist is that the doll is alive, but it's like, dude, that's a big doll. How did you two older kids not see her not carrying that out of the building? Or the auditorium, whatever it is. That kid was about to ditch both of them. That was a voice crack and a half. I remember that being on some of the promos. This day just keeps getting better and better. Why would you have all these lights off in this area that leads down to like the performance room for the performer? Why would you do that? I never understood why it would be so dark through there. It's horror movie logic, you know? You can't say that anymore. You know, in this situation, both of you kind of look bad. You look like you were a peeping Tom, but you're a girl. What can I call you? Anyway, Jimmy O. James is in there arguing with a doll and pretending like, he's making an argument for part of the performance. You know, that actually could be a cool idea to see, like, Jeff Dunham or somebody, like, talking with one of their dummies, faking a fight, deciding to walk away, and the dummy keeps moving because of a radio control mechanism of some sort. That could be a cool trick to pull on an audience in the middle of a show or a gag, you know? I'm surprised nobody's tried that yet. It's probably an idea, too, that Stein took and used in the first Horrorland book. What was that book called? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. The one where they say at one point that Slappy apparently has like a radio control mechanism inside of him. I'm pretty sure that came from this episode, but it might have been in the original Bride book too. I don't know. Mary Ellen has some big old eyes, dude. You know, there's that drawing method about cute, good characters in cartoons and in art, comics, all of that, having big eyes to make them more lovable for kids, supposedly, and for audiences in general. But, like, villains are supposed to have, like, pointy corners on their heads and faces and art design. Think of something like Samurai Jack stuff, or like Darth Vader, for example. But, like, Mary Ellen's got them big old, like, I can see the color of your soul eyes. And it's frightening. Truly, truly frightening. What kid would want that doll? It's like, I remember Jeremy Johns making a review for Annabelle years ago, or Conjuring or something, and talking about, like, why would any kid want that doll? It's so ugly and chipped up, it's frightening, it's got those scary looking, I'm gonna rip your arm off look. But, like, what kid would want that? I always felt the same way about Mary Ellen. Not Slappy, though. I always thought kids would love Slappy. Slappy looks funny, you know, and cute, and that's what his menacing nature kind of contradicts, you know? Number one, you're an adult. You were probably born in the 50s, or at least the 60s. Why are you calling that a doll? That's clearly a ventriloquist dummy. Your generation would know that. If there happen to be any parents out there, or anybody that's an adult right now who happens to be watching this commentary, or watching this with me, listening, whatever you're doing, if somebody randomly sent your kid a ventriloquist dummy that looked like Slappy in the mail, would you take him and put him in your actual house? By the way, Slappy's mouth just changed between those two shots. I remember that being for the promo of this too, with Slappy biting her hand. That always made me jump as a kid. Even the sound effect gets me now. This scene always creeped me out when I was a kid, too. You know, with him roaming in the hallways and stuff. It's just a POV shot, too. You don't even see him actually running around. That always used to frighten me so much. Like I said in my Dummy 2 commentary, a lot of my memories of being frightened of Slappy at all were in the original Dummy book, which was about Mr. Wood, not Slappy. But on top of that, just the idea of him coming out of my grandparents' at the time's house, like in the closet in the room my cousins and I would stay in on my dad's weekends, that was something so eerie to me, dude. What a great villain for kids' media. There's a reason people keep redoing the Killer Dolls and Dolls Are Alive storyline in kids' books at like Barnes & Noble in that section. The Goosebumps knockoffs of modern day. Not even back in the day. Back in the day they had them in the 90s too, and the 2000s, but they still do it now. There's a reason they do that, though. When I was a kid, I always thought that was in blood, not lipstick or paint or whatever. I'm pretty sure they say it's a lipstick in the episode, but I'm pretty sure the I want my bride is written in red blood. It is not, though. Can you imagine how hard it'd be to try to get lipstick off of a mirror? Mirrors already smear if you even slightly look at them, or look into them. Can you imagine trying to get red lipstick off of that, dude? What a pain. You know, with things like Trick or Treat Studios existing, I know they make mainly masks and other Halloween things, they would have to be nuts at Disney with this new show coming out, not to make media. If they have Slappy look anything like he looks in this episode, they'd be nuts to not have like some kind of bigger company put out like a $200 Slappy doll or something that'd make it easier to get your hands on one from this or from the original movie series or from the new series from Disney. They would be nuts to not do that. Because this design for Slappy, it doesn't match the book description, as I said in my last couple of commentaries, but dude, I don't care, I love him. I really love him. I'm sleepy. I love that elevator sign, man. I remember when I was a kid and I saw that for the first time in the episode when I rented it. I loved the way the elevator opened up like that, with the bottom half going down and the top half with Slappy's open mouth going upward. That's so creative, I guess. It's such a weird thing to come up with. Somebody behind the scenes was like, you know what this episode needs? This episode needs a mouth of Slappy opening up on an elevator. I don't know if you saw that in the elevator back there, but it said, "Don't worry, be slappy." It had a happy cut out. Kind of like Slaughter from Dark Knight on the side of the 18-wheeler. By the way, I saw Rocky's head right there. My boy Rocky. With that piece of lore right there, is that implying that in the episode's canon, that Slappy came back after Dummy 3 somehow, beat up Rocky, broke his head open, decapitated him, and somehow brought it with him even though it wasn't inside of his trunk? How did Jimmy O. James see it? Did he do it after Jimmy O. James brought him back to life, before Jimmy O. James became famous? How did that work? What happened to Trina and Dan and Hayden Christensen? The world may never know. Did you really not have that much money that you, I wonder what movie that is on the TV right there, with the corn rows and stuff. Is that Scarecrow Walks at Midnight? I thought it was like an actual movie because it looked like it was black and white. I guess it's a throwback to 50s movies or something, because they're usually in black and white. That's definitely a Goosebumps monster. I don't know which one that is off the top of my head, but that was from an episode. That looks like Werewolf of Fever Swamp, right? I don't know. It's been a while since I watched it, man. See, this is kind of a cool play on that When a Stranger Calls Urban Legend movie thing. You know? That's how I feel every day, man. You see that little Play-Doh dummy hand? I really want to know what they made that hand out of, man, but it's clearly not the same hand they have in the different dummy episodes. Right out of Play-Doh land. Lights out, brats. That shot right there, Slappy in the dark looking around with a grin, is so eerie, dude. I don't know if it's because this room is cold and I have a vent right at my feet or what, but just put a chill down my spine. And Slappy in the vent. I always forget about that, man. If I looked over at a vent, like the vent at my feet right now, which now I'll never look at the vent the same way ever again by my feet. I have to reach down there sometimes to plug my computer in. If I ever saw that dude, that would have frightened me to death. And once again, like I said in my last commentaries, Slappy's height changes every single adaptation we get. Now he's really short. He's not taller like he was in Dummy 3. That doll's face and those big old eyes, dude. Look at those big old googly eyes. The voice reminds me of Tiffany from Bride of Chucky. Why does Mary Ellen have to be bow-legged? Ellen Gitz. Dude, I watched this episode with my best friend from childhood, And when that part happened with the window and Slappy popping up, my friend jumped so high. He had never seen a horror movie until he watched a little bit of Goosebumps with me. But that part got him so bad, dude. I remember him jumping up so high. God, that voice actress, dude. That is so weird that Slappy wants a child to be his wife. I'll never get over that, dude. I never picked up on how weird that was as a kid. Dude, when I was a kid in the 90s, I thought this whole fight right here was the most action-packed thing ever. Like, for real. It wasn't Star Wars level, but it was good for horror. I think a lot of it is the whining and sobbing they're doing as they fight. You see the cracked Slappy face? It's like the one from the beginning of Dummy 3. Like when the laser beam showed up. Dude, when these two ghosts came out of their bodies, it scared me so bad. As photoshopped as it is, that frightened me so bad as a kid with them flying around all over the place. Now watching it in hindsight, I get this grin of excitement for nostalgia about it. You know? And as I said, this part scared me so bad as a kid when they open the door and they see the big old googly eyes. But I have a question as I view it right now, just a second. Those eyes, man. There is some kind of nightmare fuel that comes out of that. As simple as that was, just taking some some fake doll eyes that you made for Mary Ellen and for Slappy, specifically Slappy because they were green, and then having this kid hold him really tight on his eyes. That is nightmare fuel. That's one of those cursed images like the poster for Attack of the Crab Monsters. Those credits songs, man. Beginning and ending, every single time they give you something to look forward to because of how wonderful that sound is, that theme song. I really hope Disney uses that theme song too. I have a feeling they won't because, well, they're Disney. That involves paying royalties. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, folks, that is the commentary rounded up for Bride of the Living Dummy, one of my favorite Goosebumps episodes of all time. Again, I own a VHS that I watch all the time of it and everything. I love it so much. It never gets old to me. This, Dummy 3, Haunted Mask 1 and 2, some other ones like Shocker on Shock Street now, since I saw that back when I first reviewed it and reviewed the book, but also Attack of the Jack-O-Lanterns. There are so many out there that stand out to me that are just constantly rewatchable from my brain. Even down to like Horrorland. The two-parter for Horrorland, especially in the second half, is a little goofy, a little sillier than the book, but it's still like there's something about it that feels like summertime, and I love to rewatch it constantly. Anyway, that is the commentary, as I said. That's pretty much the end of the video. I don't have anything else to share with you. These commentaries are fun. They're more of a watch-along than a commentary, but, you know, I think the personal story side being labeled a fan commentary on the title of the video is kind of helpful, I guess. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you want more commentaries, let me know. I don't really know what to cover next. I mean, we're still technically in the summer. Maybe I could do Horrorland if you wanted to do that, or some of the other ones, or just go back and do them in order. Aside from Haunted Mask and Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns and all that, I could save for the Halloween October time of the year, which would probably be the best. Of course, I still have a review coming out eventually, whenever I get a chance to watch it, of the Goosebumps 2015 movie. I just haven't had the urge to do it. I've been doing other things for the Strange Michael channel, my horror movie review channel. So tune into that, too, if you want to check out some newer content from me. Anyway, that's pretty much it, man. Bride... all of those words get jumbled together. Bride of the Living Dummy. What did you think about it? Do you love the episode? Do you hate it? Do you love the book more? Do you love the episode more? I'd love to hear all that down below, too. Anyway, thank you all for watching, guys, listening, whatever. God bless you all. See you soon on a new commentary and new videos, and God bless you again. Goodbye.